Hello, everybody, and welcome to the very first comics news today of 2020. Oh, the second for me
Oh,
and Booster here, yeah. But it's New Year's Day for them. Uh,
it
so, uh,
is, yeah.
yeah, pretty cool. Well, thank you guys very much for taking some of your time away from your New Year's Day, your football, and your various other black eyed peas and corned beef and cabbage, mustard must be included.
I thought you
Uh,
meant the band Black Eyed Peas.
no, they're not a bad band either. That's a fun little popcorn band. But no,
They haven't been good for like a decade. They started doing like poppy crap, but hey, well, that's neither here nor there. I
well, they
apologize.
were good in the past, yeah. Until what was her name? Fergie decided that she could sing, and
Mm.
then went and ruined her career.
Oh, what a
Yeah,
shame.
yeah, what a shame.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I'm talking to the American Irish, who eat the corned beef and cabbage on New Year's, of course. I don't know why, but it seems to be a thing on New Year's that various cultures around the world wanted to continually torture themselves with the absolute worst food they have in their culture. It's like a punishment day or
Mm,
something. What do you guys
yeah.
eat on New Year's?
Oh, pretty much the same stuff, right? Ham and oh wait, New Year's. I'm thinking Christmas.
Hmm.
I have food. Just
Just
have a
food
big
in general,
greasy
yeah,
burger.
yeah.
Yeah. Clog
They
the old
have a
arteries more.
they have a thing here they call the osechi, and
Hmm.
it's I don't know, I don't mind it so much, but kids hate it. It's like the worst thing, right?
Get on
But
the piss.
well, I think it's
That's what we
about
call it in New Zealand.
remembering the past, and of course people were poor and they ate what they could get, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
think that's part of it, but whatever. Anyway, happy New Year to all you guys. And so, do you have any plans today? I mean, it's or sometime this week. I mean, I know you got your job coming up here soonish,
I
but
do.
you don't have any kind of traditions or anything like that for New Year's over there?
Me personally, no.
Really?
I don't really know what kind of traditions I'd have. I just do what I do. Oh, here's Fundaro. My plans there will probably involve just watching Always Sunny with him. That's what we do, baby.
That's cool. That's
Usually,
cool.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Thundero
typically,
here. You watch some football and you had to yourself some corned beef and cabbage, I'm sure.
no, no.
No.
I don't watch football anymore. Well, I would have been. I do watch football when my teams don't suck,
Oh, okay.
but
Yeah,
my
kind of
team
bloody
didn't suck,
coronary
but
over
they
that. Yeah.
they choked last weekend, so
Oh,
they're out.
no. Oh, no.
Um, but no,
Shit.
no, we don't really have like where I'm from anyway. At least the white folks around here, we don't have like a culinary tradition for New Year's. We don't really care about New Year's. To be honest,
Huh?
it's not really that big of a holiday. We'll take the day off, but that's
I see. Well, I grew up eating the corned beef and cabbage, of course, with black eyed peas. The interesting thing about black eyed peas, for some reason, is become associated with black people these days, but that's not where it's coming
Yeah.
from. That's an Irish food, baby.
They want to steal all our things.
They do. They do it successfully too.
That's why we have race wars.
That is why. That is why. In the streets, even. How you doing today, Thundero?
I'm fantastic. It's a new year. Last year no longer exists.
Yep,
It can
that's
it can
right.
literally only go up from there. So
Yeah,
I'm doing good.
Mm.
that's awesome. That's great to hear, dude. And
Years are only numbers on a calendar. Your time will still be terrible.
Correct.
it's about your perception booster. You see, the power of the mind
Oh,
is
How
incredible.
many times does Denali have to tell you that your perception shapes your reality?
I
How many
know.
times did he have to tell you that,
I
Booster? And
know.
you just don't listen.
It's like a freaking year, 300 plus videos, dude.
I've heard that phrase a lot. Yeah,
Yeah.
I still sometimes have trouble remembering how to do it. Yeah,
It's amazing how he just selectively forgets shit. It's
I
interesting.
I remember things when I want to.
That was my joke. Yeah. Anyway, excuse
Yeah.
me. Glad to have you guys in here. Let me check the chat real quick and see who's come in to join us on this New Year's Eve, or excuse me, New Year's Day night. We got Roger in here. We got Jennifer. Hey, Jennifer, what's up? She says 2020, hooray! Does that food combo cause freckles? I believe so. I do believe so. Either that or the sun. I'm not
Oh,
sure.
I
But
suppose it's damn prickly.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, we white people are kind of allergic to the sun.
Yeah.
Uh,
We're not
Probably, I
friends.
swear, from a different planet. We're not from this one.
well, no,
Yes, that planet
that's true.
is Europe.
Yeah, the planet of Europe. Let's see. We have Tolfer in here. Hello, how you doing, dude? And Yanni, the funny thing is, I was over here in some years back. I have a friend of mine. He owns a dynamite business, and I went and helped him for I don't know a year or so because he was real busy. So I went and helped, and it was a lot of fun. I loved it. And the funny thing is, we go like at 3 in the morning and load up the truck to go and get it delivered because dynamite is restricted. That they don't want you driving around with dynamite in the main road and with lots of other people around unless you have to, right? So we used to do it really early in the morning. So we're in this dark, protected place where the dynamite is stored, and we're having to load it onto the trucks and stuff. And I just go into the room, just grab the dynamite that you need, and you load it up, right? But of course, for me, being of course, I didn't understand that till I came here to Asia, by the way. But I guess we have, because of our light eyes, I have super light blue eyes, and we see in the dark pretty well, I guess. It's not something you think about because you're around people like yourself, so it's just normal. But compared to the Japanese, we're like freaking vampires. So, I mean, it's weird, dude, because they they marvel over it, and they marvel over it. It's like, how can you see that? And I don't know. How can you not? But
Hmm.
yeah,
That's a horrifyingly racist stereotype.
I
Chester, how
guess.
dare you?
I guess, yeah.
How
But
dare you spout scientific fact?
well, I didn't even think of it. It didn't even come to my mind. I didn't think that I saw better in the dark than other racial groups. It
Mm.
wasn't even a concept till I came over here, and I was like, oh, okay, I didn't know that. Makes sense though. I mean, we run around in those damn dark forests all day. I suppose is probably why. But anyway, thank you guys all for coming in. And you guys ready? We got to jump into some news. We got some hot,
Well,
Oh
I'm
yeah.
ready,
spicy
babe.
ones.
My nipples are pierced. I can cut diamonds right now. I'm so excited. Let's
Oh,
go, baby.
sweet. Nipple diamonds. I'm going to ask my wife what she thinks of that. I think she'll say no.
That's her loss.
All right. I shared it up and now I'm jumping over. Now, the first bit of news we got here today is a little bit of a sad news. Well, kind of. We've had a person pass away here at the very end of last year, another one. And of course, man, I'm kind
Oh
of
man, stop dying. It's
I
annoying me.
know. But he made it up to 86 years old, so it's not that sad. It's good long life. But of course, artist Sid Mead, which we get a lot of death reports here, obituaries, which is cool. I think it's good that we do that. But I actually know this one because a lot of them I have no idea who they are. But this dude, of course, he's involved in a lot of the concept art and various other arts of some pretty famous movies, right? Um, so, this guy, even Elon Musk was paying attention. Rest in peace, Sid Mead. Your art will endure. But of course, Blade Runner. He also did Star Trek: The Motion Picture. Which now I'm kind of curious, Thundero. What's your quick response when I say Star Trek: The Motion Picture? What comes to your mind?
The very first thing that comes to my mind is that it's about a sentient satellite,
Yeah,
and that's weird.
it
I
is
think,
weird.
gosh bless you, J.J. Abrams. You did a great
Oh
job.
my God!
Oh,
I swear to God,
oh.
dude.
You made a great Star Wars knockoff. Yeah, you're right.
Well, it's
Uh,
weird. His Star Trek was a better Star Wars than his Star Wars.
That's hilarious.
It is true, dude. It is
I'm
so
trying to
true.
think. It's been so long since I've watched. I used to have on VHS, no less,
Hmm.
all of the Star Trek movies. Unfortunately, those tapes didn't hold up over the years, but um, probably the uniforms because they were different. Um, the ship was like the interior of the ship was a lot different.
Oh yeah, 25% different.
Yeah, yeah, there was quite a bit of changes they made in that movie that they reverted by the next movie, which is hilarious.
They did. You're right. Now look at this though. Isn't that a great little piece of art? But
Yeah, that's awesome.
this guy is behind so many concept ideas and stuff that's of movies over the years, right? He's a big name, so much so that
Mm.
I actually know who he is. Of course, he's directly related to what we do because it's art and it's absolutely stunning art, you know. But the whole thing
He
with
had a
JJ,
strange mind, didn't he?
he did, but in a beautiful
Yeah,
way, right? In a
yeah.
beautiful way. And that kind of reminds me of the wraiths from the Excalibur comic book run. You remember the wraiths?
No, they just look like big alien, giant alien dogs to me. But
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
mean. They kind of look like the same head. It's kind of similar head, but you know the thing with JJ. Once again, I have to feel bad for him and I have to defend him because oh my God, the SGWs, they're so violent, dude. They're very
yes.
upset that Kylo's dead. Spoilers, and they're threatening his life,
Spoilers.
right? Literally, and it's like the one thing about J.J. Abrams, he's a hack. He is. But he is passionate about it. He does want to do a good job. It's quite clear that he wants to
Hmm.
do a good job. He just isn't capable of it. We don't need to
Yes.
threaten this man. We just mock him and move on. Or maybe even
Yes.
keep our fingers crossed.
Don't threaten incompetent people. That just makes you.
Yeah.
He's unfortunately incompetent when it comes to
Mhm.
creating narratives
Yeah, he's
of
a
his own.
great cinematographer, though, and I really wish he'd
Yes.
go back to that. But nevertheless, Sid
You
Mead,
Americans are wild about bloody Star Wars, man.
you no, we are. You're
Not
right.
anymore.
It's well, it's
Not
a
anymore.
it's an institution, right?
Oh, just wild, man. Just a difference over this shit. It's
Yeah,
oh
yeah.
god.
To the topic, Sid Mead, sir.
Yeah.
Safe journeys. Condolences to your family, of course. And yeah, really, actually, rather important fellow. We've enjoyed his stuff quite a bit. Particularly
And
his layouts and ideas for Blade Runner, just
Anything
impressive.
sci-fi that you
Mhm.
like is probably inspired by this man,
his
Mhm.
name's
in
even
one way or
sounds
another.
awesome. Sid Mead. It's a great
Yeah,
name.
yeah.
It is a very
Yeah,
good
it
name.
does sound like a bloody Star Wars name, huh?
Now, I'm pretty sure he was also attached to the Dune movie, but was it the Dune movie they made or the one they didn't make? I can't remember.
I don't know. That's the first I've heard of it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was. I just can't remember which one. Was it the one that got made or the really crazy one that didn't get made? But anyway, nevertheless, a bit of sad news. But I mean, 86, that's pretty good, man. I'd be happy with 86.
80s. I don't want anything to do with 86. Take me long before then, please. That's too old.
Yeah, well, I'm sure I'm going to be 62. My wife's got to have 30 years without me, huh, baby? She's sitting next to me, by the way. I love you. She said she
Kissies.
loves me too. Kisses. Booster gives
Oh.
kisses to you.
Did she say it in English or Japanese?
English actually. English, yeah.
Oh,
What is it
must
in
be true.
Japanese? Oh,
She gave you kisses back, by the way. On her hand,
Oh,
though.
mm,
Just her hand. Just the hand. Yeah.
mm.
Yeah.
Booster will take what he can get.
He will.
Yeah.
He
Oh yeah.
will. He will. All
Oh yeah.
right. Let's move on. Now, this right here. We have a. What do you call them, Thundero? A weeboos, or what do you call what Booster is?
He's a weeb.
A
No,
weeb.
no, I'm not actually a weeb. I just
Yeah.
like Japanese video games. It's very different.
It's very different. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, you go ahead and handle this headline,
I don't,
please.
I don't watch animes or mangoes.
Let's see. Let's see if Booster will butcher this name.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh yes, yes, yes. Evangelion
Wow.
3.0 plus Evangelion.
Thank you.
There you go.
Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0 finally lands release date in Japan.
Yeah. Now,
That is a very Japanese title for something. That's ridiculous.
it
Yeah,
is,
yeah.
and
Do you know what the Dragon Quest game I've been playing is called? It's
Dragon
something
Quest.
along the lines of no. Dragon Quest 11 Ultimate S Definitive Edition.
Uh-huh,
Yeah.
uh-huh, uh-huh.
It's ridiculous.
That's very Japanese, dude. But this Evangelion in Japan is a mega hit. This has been going on for, I don't know, 20 years, nearly 20 years. But super big popular series here. Has this made it to the West?
No,
Yeah,
I mean, it's here, but I don't think it's as popular as it is over
Yeah.
there. I
Well,
could be wrong
Eh,
about that, but
yeah.
I don't think.
From what I understand, it's pretty bloody huge. Like when it came onto Netflix, everyone was going on about it for a while, going on
Oh,
about the new
okay.
dub and all that, and how it's not as good as this dub, not as good as the subs, and the subs are the dubs and the Japanese voices, you know, that kind
Was
of
the one on
shit.
Netflix the like the old animes, or was it new stuff? You know, because the
I
old
don't know.
animes is popular, but I don't know about any of the new stuff.
Yeah. I don't know really, but it is huge here. My kids, particularly my daughter, loves Evangelion. So now I watched it with them, and it's all right. It's a big giant mecha. It's a fresh take on the giant mecha, actually, I would say. But
Yeah.
it always kind of makes me laugh because so much of the Japanese story manga, manga storytelling, is based upon Western things, right? It's very rare to come across a Japanese themed thing. And of course, Evangelion is based upon Catholic mythology, really.
Mhm.
And yeah, I don't know, but it's super popular, and this is going to make a lot of people happy, that's for sure. Because a release date in Japan means it'll be in the States within months, right?
Right.
So,
It is interesting how much of Japanese culture is westernized and just takes straight out of the West.
oh yeah,
As
no,
far as it's great, I love
yeah,
it. I wish we would do it more. Go back into our culture and make you know stuff out of it. There's so much there, but for some reason, Westerners think they have a culture, which is just mind-boggling to me. But okay.
yeah. Don't listen to the SJWs; they're not right.
Oh,
Uh,
don't
but
don't worry.
but cool. Not much here other than just simply an announcement. But I know the people who love it are excited about it. And of course, Neo Genesis Evangelion. I remember the 2.0. That was all right. Anyway, moving on. Ooh, Booster, what's this?
What is this? Hasbro closes 3.8 billion Entertainment One takeover.
Ooh, what is that? This
Dude,
is definitely a Denali thing, and we talked about this before with the
definitely.
Peppa Pig and PJ Masks and Ricky Zoom and stuff. Um, this makes sense though. This is something that I would expect. Oh, don't look at it. I would expect Hasbro to be involved with. I didn't expect them to buy Death Row Records, however. That was weird. It's
Yeah,
still
that is
weird.
pretty weird.
Yeah.
They're gonna start putting out Death Row records,
Who's
line of toys.
Entertainment One? What is this?
It's a
Uh,
company that makes a bunch of kid stuff, kid
Oh, they produce
animation.
films such as Insidious Chapter 3 and Sinister 2. Nicolas Cage's Left Behind. Now that's what I want. I want Hasbro sponsored Nicolas Cage toys.
There you go. Hey, I'll take it. But they do a lot of
Yeah.
Nickelodeon stuff as well. So this makes perfect sense. We've talked about this before. I'm pretty sure that, but Dinelli put it up, and probably if he had come on today, in his mind, he had some narrative he wanted to talk about, I'm sure. But we did talk about this before, so I guess it's just finally finished. All the papers signed and such, I guess. So yeah, good. This is a good thing for Hasbro, and I'm pretty happy with Hasbro right now. And you got to keep in mind, for someone like me, it's been a rocky path with Hasbro because way back, I'm going way back when TSR was basically bought up by Hasbro. Excuse me, bought up by Wizards of the Coast, and then Wizards of the Coast sold themselves to Hasbro. This put D&D, Dungeons and Dragons, in the hands of a giant corporation, which is always terrifying. And in the beginning, they were pretty cool about it. And then their suits couldn't resist. They come in and screwed it up and gave us fourth edition, but they've backed up again. So yeah, Hasbro has been a kind of more in my mind than you would expect, actually, because of the D&D stuff. But yeah, but on the other hand, here recently, they basically told Disney to go f off, right? When it came to the Star Wars toys, and they're like, nope, we're not doing
mhm.
that again.
Yeah, I can't imagine why. I mean, the Star Wars toy debacle is one of the main causes that destroyed Toys R Us.
It is true. It
They
is.
just
Yeah.
would not sell. They couldn't get them to sell for anything. Nobody
Yeah.
wanted them.
So, good for them. This is definitely a direction they should be going in, and I just hope they keep leading by example. And and being strong. That's all we can hope, right? Because, for me, the only thing I really care about Hasbro is the fact that they own WotC. And, who knows what kind of strange directions they could go. Right now, you can't get away from this infection, this plague that is the SJW progressive politic. It's involved in everything, even the new fifth edition of Dungeons and Dragons. But it's not so bad. And isn't it weird, guys, that we've come to the point that if it's not so bad, we accept it. It's all right. It's probably a bad thing.
Well, what else can you
Well, I
do?
don't, but
Well, you
I
know what I
just I
mean.
just cut it out and
It's
find
true.
new
It's true.
hobbies.
Yeah, you
Hmm.
could do that as well. You could they do that as well. And it kind of brings me. I'm not talking about it on one of the news articles today, but it kind of brings me back to the J.J. Abrams thing. I mean, he is getting death threats from these crazy ass SJWs who are upset that Kylo dies. I mean, it's not one or two; it's a lot. They have lost their damn mind again over some fictional character. Now we get upset, we'll mock and stuff, but it's not that important. It's just a movie, man.
Has he blown up planets?
I don't know, dude, but they've lost. It's just you know, it's
Because
it's
that
ridiculous.
makes him quite literally worse than Hitler.
It would. It would make him worse than Hitler. Yeah.
A figure that they are terrified of.
Yeah, seemingly. I don't know why, but they really don't like the Hitler. Um, he was a
I don't know why.
painter,
I'm personally not a fan of Hitler.
he was a
I know,
lover.
controversial statement, but
He was a he was a political gumbaru guy. He was trying to do his best.
he had a bit of a temper.
A little bit. A little bit.
Oh
I think
Christ!
the mental illness
Moving
is
on.
probably the worst part of it. But anyway, yeah, I'm. This is cool. Hasbro, stay on the right track, please. Please, please, please. You hold something dear to me, and if I ever had money, I would try my best to buy D&D out from under Hasbro and put it in somewhere safe. But want to keep fingers crossed, man. I know it's niche. All right. Before I jump over, let me go check to see if the chat has anything important to say here or anything at all to say. Oh, we got a bunch more people in here. Sweet. Chester is in the future. It's the second there. It is, dude. It is. Oh, did I put the second? I didn't put the first. Oh, God. I suck at this, don't I, guys? I mean, I really do. Because this
Yeah,
is their your first. I suck for sure. All right, let me fix. I'm fixing it.
fix it. Fix this now, Chester.
Damn it. I blame Booster or somebody. I'll blame Thundero. But no, he won't take it. No, I'll blame Booster. That's better. All right, let me see here. Where was I? Oh, yeah, yeah. Evening, folks from Nick. Say, hey, Nick. Did he draw Alien Nostromo ship? I believe he did. He did all those alien stuff. That's probably they put Blade Runner in the front. Of course, I think his influence was very important to Blade Runner, but his influence in Alien is very clear because they had the Giger stuff, the all the concepts of aliens and stuff came from Giger, but he was the one that had to kind of stitch it all together with Alien, and I've seen his several of his takes on what the Nostromo should look like. So yeah, I believe so, Jennifer. Bullet says, "Oh man, Sid Mead passes." Yeah, right. This is a huge bummer. It is, but he's an old dude. And he had a good long life, and he'll be remembered, man, for sure. Jennifer says his dark industrial concepts are my fave. Yeah, he's very cool. I hate Star Wars or just don't care. Yeah, it's kind of both cult, right? Bullet says Star Wars Disney invited all the crazy by courting the crazy SJWs in the first place. They went for the world crowd. Well, Jeremy over at the Quartering said the same thing today, and he was correct, perfectly right. He says, there you go, Disney. These are the fans you wanted. Yep. You get what you
Mm.
ask for sometimes. Cult Film continues says director of Blade Runner 2 made the new Dune. Oh yeah, no, no, no. I was talking about there was a Dune movie back in the I don't know 70s or 80s that was supposed to be made, and it was a crazily ambitious thing, but it never did get made. You guys remember the name of that guy? That crazy bastard, like an Italian guy. I can't remember his name offhand.
Uh,
I
I,
don't know.
but
There
it's
are a lot of crazy Italians. You have to be more
it's
specific.
true. Well, no, but it's very famous for a movie for not being made. Because it was so close to being made, right? But I think it might have been that one. I'm not sure. I don't watch enemas or mangoes booster. Okay,
Hmm.
okay, enemas and mangoes. Well, are you doing mango enemas?
He was doing an amazing mangoes joke that I did earlier.
I
Chester,
know, I know, I
you
know.
gotta pay attention.
No, I was asking if you were putting the mangoes up your butt. That's what I was asking.
Well,
Pay
yes,
attention.
but don't judge me.
Okay, I won't. I won't. Devilish Boredom says the Evangelion is huge. The old anime and the first follow-up movie are what came to Netflix. Cool. There you go. I love this chat, dude. There's always someone who knows something. To play with Booster. Oh,
I know
Jennifer's.
things.
Yeah. I know you've heard a lot of things. Corner of our basement is filled with red and blue TSR boxes and books. That sounds like a nice basement to me.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. Hasbro does listen to consumers. Remember Citizens G.I. Joe. True? No, no. I mean, I'm just hoping it stays that way, Nick. I agree. They have made several cool moves over the years. One of the coolest moves they made when they bought WotC was they said, "Hey, you got 5 years. Go make it successful." And that's when third edition came out. So, good on for doing that, and good on the guys from WotC from making it successful. Hey, Ryan Cardinal, nice to see you, dude. Booster totally watches Mango Animas. We know he does. We know he
I mean,
does.
I bought his mango, and I hear that's ready to ship soon, Ryan Cardinal. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh yeah, it's a great looking book, dude. And
Hmm.
Eric Boyd says, "Happy New Year, Booster included." Ha. Roger
Yay.
says, "Looks like Hasbro's next movie will be called Transformers Straight Outta Cybertron."
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, boy. Oh, that's funny. That's a good one. Good job, Roger. All right, let's move on to the next story here. Uh, what is this? Go ahead.
Where does comic book TV go from here? I would hope down the freaking
Away.
toilet.
Just
Yeah,
away.
just go, please.
Yeah,
We
please.
tried the TV thing. It has not worked. Go back to cartoons.
Well, The Boys wasn't bad.
I love the boys, but yeah. Okay, I love a lot of comic book TV stuff. I'll admit, right? But the ones that we have on screen currently is giving me a repulsive reaction.
Yeah, it's the CW crap, is what it is.
I
Right.
can't stand the CW stuff, dude. Like I've said
Right.
this so many times. It is not this. This is not superhero shows. These are teen dramas.
It is,
Yeah.
and I don't mind them trying to get that demographic. I mean, that's fine. At least we also on the other side we had Daredevil and the Boys and stuff, which kind of cover a little bit older crowd. But I think this is
Mm.
talking about all superhero stuff, not just CW. And Disney Plus, of course, has got a bunch of stuff coming up. Cloak, this thing with Hulu, they talk about the young adult, which Booster just mentioned, superhero casualties like Hulu's Marvel's Runaways and Cloak and Dagger. Well, first of all, Runaways should have been awesome. It should have been awesome
Mm.
because that is a great, compact, solid story you have. You have a
It was a
beginning, a
fun little
middle, and an
comic.
end. Huh?
It was a fun little comic.
It was, and like I said, it's a full story: Act One, Act Two, Act Three, and they try to
Yeah.
continue after that. But it's a nice, contained, easy story to tell, and they screwed that up horribly. I mean, they totally missed the point, completely missed the point, right? And of course, the Cloak and Dagger that upsets me because Cloak and Dagger was one of my favorite team up, comic book teams. I love Cloak and Dagger, and they screwed that up hardcore, dude. I mean, I don't know.
Just haven't seen a scene where I watched a rich black guy lecture a homeless white girl about her privilege was the most current year thing I'd ever seen at that point. It
Yeah,
was, wow,
yeah,
just total lack of empathy.
yeah. And
And two people trying to argue over who's more oppressed. Get out of here.
I know, right? And of course, Thundero is smarter than both of us, so he didn't watch these things, I'm sure.
Correct.
Yeah, see, there it is. But those two right there, because I mean, there's several things they're talking about this article, and we can all name some. But those two were disappointing because the Runaways that was a freaking slow pitch, baby. How could you not get
Well,
that right?
for me, the worst one is the Flash because the Flash, the first season especially, was actually really good, and then it
I'd say
just
the
went,
first two seasons were great.
yeah, and then it just completely when it lost the plot. Like they obviously had a really good first season, and maybe even first two seasons, you could say, thought out before they started the show, and then they didn't know what was going to happen, whether it would keep going or not, which is like most shows.
Hmm.
And they just didn't have anything good to go to from there, and it
Yeah.
just was
They
obvious.
just made shit
And
up
then
as what they went along.
they started leaning on the social justice crap
Hmm.
to try and see we're woke guys, come watch us, and it was just bad. It wasn't even like it was like stupid SJW stuff. It was bad. Like
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
acted
It's
poorly.
really
It was
bad.
directed poorly. It was written poorly. It was it was offensive because of how bad it was, not because of what it was.
Well,
Yeah,
it's
that
almost
guy who played Reverse Flash, man, he was
Yeah,
so good.
he was
yeah,
good, but it's
Yeah.
almost as if when you concentrate on the politics instead of storytelling, something doesn't go right. It's
yeah.
this odd connection between the two. I don't know. Now, Agents of Shield here, that show was never good. But they were really dedicated to it. And they kept, no, we're gonna keep doing it, and it just was never good. The only thing good in that show ever was Colston, and it's not
Yeah.
enough.
I
Hmm.
think didn't they do some like Ghost Rider stuff on there too that was
Yeah, they did
okay.
some
They
pretty
did.
cool Ghost Rider stuff.
They did
Yeah.
some
But
Inhuman
other than
stuff.
that, it was just meh. I
Is
don't the
Agents
big
of
meh.
Shield still going?
Well, they
I don't know.
concentrated the main characters in that TV show were Mockingbird and whoever the Asian lady playing like the team leader general type. I forget what her character's name. But and then the oh come on, I hate it when my brain shuts down. Well, Quake. There it is. Oh, thank God.
Hmm.
Those so it concentrated on those three ladies. And those three ladies, at least the actresses they chose, really weren't able to hold it up. They just weren't. Now, I don't have a problem with it being based around three women and not and the men just being side background characters. I don't mind that. But if you got to do that, then you bring it, baby, right? Bring it. And they didn't.
Hmm.
Especially Quake. What a pathetic character she was. Just so useless.
Well, it's just part of the politics BS because they insist on trying to force these female leads and these female themes and all this into these stories. And I mean, female superheroes have been around since pretty much superheroes have existed.
Sure.
But you have to have Wonder Woman. You have to have a perfect storm of a perfect character
Uh,
like Wonder Woman for it to work in that
Hmm.
medium because it is a masculine medium. The
it is.
the
That's
idea
true.
of a heroism is a masculine trait. So for a woman to do it, it has to be a special character, special take on a character done the right way. You can't just slap them in a costume like the male guy's wearing and be like, "Yep, this is gonna work."
Yeah.
Doesn't
Yeah.
work.
Yeah, it doesn't work. Yeah, and of course, you got that applies across the board. I mean, there are
Yeah,
thousands and thousands of comic book characters, thousands. That's not an exaggeration. But yet, there's only one Spider-Man, right?
correct.
There's a lot of failures amongst the sea of success, right? And yeah, they just they have this weird thing. You put a woman in a role, automatically it's going to be good. No, it isn't. It's like Rogue One, right? Rogue One's the best thing that Disney has made. No one's going to argue this. But yet, if they had had a stronger
I know one
actress,
guy who will.
well, maybe one guy. But if they had had a stronger actress in that lead role, that could have been a great movie, dude.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes,
that
that
was
could
the
have been
only thing.
Aliens of Star Wars. It was a great story. Again, Star Wars is such a fertile ground. Another great story that was executed poorly. Um, I say the same thing about Revenge of the Sith. Great story executed poorly. There's
Hmm.
so much good stuff you can do with Star Wars, and you could do a great female lead. We just haven't seen it done. I mean, Leia, but she wasn't technically the lead. She was
No,
the
she
female
wasn't.
lead.
She wasn't.
I
Um,
think there's just this massive kind of disagreement of tone for Star Wars, right?
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
George Lucas seems to want something a lot more goofy, and even in his little remakes of his original trilogy, right? It was little CGI crap that he puts in. He always adds in something really goofy and
Well,
unnecessary.
because he wants to make
It's
it for
just like with
kids.
Jar Jar
Yeah.
Binks, right? Yeah, but kids aren't that retarded.
No, they're
But
not. No,
exactly.
dude.
And that's the problem is he had it right originally when he said if you make a movie for 12 to 15-year-old boys, you make a movie for everybody.
That's right.
He got that. It was him that said that, and then he lost the plot and started making them for 8-year-olds
Yeah, he
instead.
Yeah,
did.
Like, what are you doing, George?
yeah.
Yeah. No, and I would even say younger than 8. But I'm going to have to give Booster a clap, baby. We're clapping for Booster. Clap.
Oh,
Okay, there you go. She gave you. She get. Oh no, she's not clapping. She's giving you jazz hands. She doesn't want to trigger anybody.
oh,
Uh,
that's really considerate. Thank you, Chester wife.
it's just her wife. Thank you, he says. But
Yeah.
no, this is a fair point. I've been. You guys know I'm a teacher, and I've been doing it a long time, and I can't tell you how many young Westerners have come into Japan that I've interacted with, and they're just fresh out of college. They come over here to teach kids. They treat elementary school kids like they're 2. It's like,
Yeah.
Yes.
all right, boys and girls, today we're going to talk about the letter A. And it's, oh, I swear
Even
to God, it was.
8-year-olds aren't that stupid. I get asked for cigarettes by 8-year-olds constantly.
That's hilarious. That, now this was obviously in the like 50s, late 50s, early 60s, but that's when my father started smoking. Was when
Oh,
he was 8
really?
years old. So
At
that's
least I
hilarious.
waited to
Oh,
19.
hey,
Goodness
bro, got
gracious.
a ciggy? Oh, shit, I'm gonna go watch SpongeBob.
Well, because kids are not that stupid, and this is constantly missed. So it's a very good point you're making. But yeah, we see what George did, and because he was very butthurt over it, and in the end, even though everyone is blaming other people who deserve some blame, it's really George's fault. In the end, it's George's fault because he clearly in interviews did not like Disney, wasn't going to sell nothing to Disney. He called them white slavers straight up, right? But he sold it to him because he was butthurt about his prequels and he wanted revenge, and he got it in a weird way. But
He got sweet revenge.
the thing it
And the
killed.
worst part about it for me is
Mhm.
George is right in one respect, and I can see why, from his point of view, he thinks he made the best movies ever. Because story-wise, he made great movies,
He
or
did.
he had good stories, but he just didn't make good movies. They're just not that good. And
Like the
I think
opposite of Zack
for him,
Snyder,
he can't
you know?
separate the two. He just doesn't
Yeah.
see that there's two different things there.
You know,
Yeah.
like George is clearly an ideas man, not an execution man, while Zack Snyder is the opposite. Zack
Yes.
Snyder's an execution man, certainly not a damn ideas man.
No, it's interesting.
Yeah.
And but the thing that really killed us, the real villain in the shadow is George Lucas, and it's because of this. He got over $4 billion for selling his Star Wars, but that wasn't
Mhm.
enough.
Sure,
And
we're talking about Star Wars for the third time, off topic from what the article. We should just go to the Star Wars article.
no, I'm not going to it. But no, because he demanded that he get a percentage, right? We know this, but I think there was more in that contract that we don't know, and here's why. Because if you're Disney, right, and you got this contract, you now own Star Wars, but you have to pay George Lucas anytime you use any of their characters. What is the first corporate decision you make? We're not going anywhere near the Skywalker saga, right? We're going to make something
Mhm.
completely different so we don't have to pay George Lucas a penny more, right? That's the corporate choice. But they
Mhm.
didn't. They tackled the Skywalker saga directly. And I think there was a clause in that, or I'm guessing, but I think there was a clause in that contract that said they had to complete the saga. I'm telling you,
Either
dude.
that or it was fan pressure. As soon as Disney bought it, everybody that's what the clamor was these guys are all still alive. Do it. George
Man,
wouldn't do it. You guys do it.
maybe, but I don't know, dude. I just feel that was sitting on the table when they were doing the storytelling. It's sitting there and on the table, and they're trying to make a story, and like, all right, we got to deal with this too. I just feel like that was part of the process. But anyway, you're right, Booster. Next.
I
Ooh,
love being right.
ooh, not
Oh,
again.
They just cannot make this movie, huh?
No, go ahead.
Sony's
thank God.
Uncharted
Please don't
movie
make this movie. Just please
loses
abandon
its
it.
director, again.
again.
Yes.
And it's really
Poor
sad
Nathan Drake.
because Uncharted is Indiana Jones for the modern public, is what it is,
Yes.
right? It's a modernized version of Indiana Jones, and it would be great, man. I think it'd be good fun. But no,
I don't trust him. I don't trust him at all.
Are they still going with Tom Holland? Is that still is that just the person they're eyeing up for it, or
oh, I don't even hear that. That's not the right choice at all. What are you talking
that's
Yeah,
about?
that's who they're considering, Chester? They're
that's who
considering
they
Tom
picked
Holland.
originally. It was Tom Holland.
That's ridiculous. That must
Yes.
be that must be a joke.
Yes, that's why I don't want this movie to happen. Just don't do it to me. Please leave Nathan Drake retired for
You know who
God's
we should have,
Oh,
retired.
there's only one
and it's not.
choice.
I was gonna say there's only one guy I could ever think of, and I keep picking him for everything now. And maybe because I have a little bit of a man crush on him now, but it's also because he is the youngest classically male-looking figure that we have today,
Mhm.
Henry Cavill.
Henry might
Maybe he's
pull
a
it
bit
off.
too. Maybe he's a bit too buff for the character, because Nathan Drake is, he's a fit guy, right? But Henry Cavill is wide, boy. He is swole. He has got
Yeah,
arms for days, boys.
No, my choice would be Tom Hardy.
Oh yeah, Tom Hardy. There you go.
Yeah,
he could
I
do it.
see that in the
I
comics.
think
Yeah,
Cavill
yeah,
has
yeah.
more of the look, but I think Hardy would pull it off better.
yeah.
I
Hardy
mean,
is an actually good actor. Yeah.
if only Nathan Fillion was about 20 years younger, because look,
Oh
he's a
Jesus,
spitting
yeah,
image of the
yeah.
character.
He
I'm
would.
sure
Yeah,
that they based the character off Nathan Fillion.
yeah. It
They
feels that
might
way.
have.
Yeah,
It kind of feels like they wanted him to be the voice actor for it, and it just didn't work out, and they went
yeah.
with Nolan North instead.
Yeah.
It's too bad, but it's probably Thundero's probably right. Better leave it alone because they'll screw it up. But it's too bad
Yeah,
because this I think could be a really fun series. And we all know there's that video gamers or there's millions of us, but there's also
We
many
are
many
oppressed.
times people who don't know anything about video games at all, dude. So it'd be
Mhm.
introducing something new, and it's a cool name too, Uncharted. Man, that's a great name. It's a great concept. Oh well.
We need to rise up, boys.
I guess. Next, that was a quick one. I don't know if I want to cover this so much, but this
It sounds
article,
funny. What is this?
well, it's a Mark. It says, how Mark Millar pitted two publishers in a fake game of chicken to break into comics. It's an interesting, little article, and it's quite a long article for Newsarama because they do like paragraphs. But if you're interested in it, you can go check it out. I'm not going to get into this, but of course, the what do they call it? The Millar verse.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I mean,
I think he's got some good things under him, but
he does, dude. He
to
does.
me, he's the poor man's Garth Ennis. He he
Yeah,
uh,
yeah, I'll
he
take
kind
that.
of tries a bit too hard with the edginess sometimes, particularly his book Nemesis. If you've heard about it,
Hmm. I
it's
have.
it's
We
just
talked about it.
it's
Yeah.
why did he make this book? Why did he do this to me?
Anyway, there you go. Why did you do this to us, Mark Millar? Next. Oh, what is this one? Um,
Box office 2019. What went right and wrong in a what was this 11.4 billion year, and how 2020 is shaping up? What is this?
that was a low
Talking about
year, dude.
money, baby.
No, that's not a lot of money, dude. That's a very poor year.
That's a very poor. Yeah. What's the average that a bunch of monies tend to a bunch of monies? Goodness me, a bunch of movies tend to make.
At least double
How
that,
how
dude.
many monies?
At least double
How
that.
many monies?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
That's not
That's
it because
strange because
that's
we had some
industry wide,
box
right?
office hits
That's
this.
all the money
Yeah,
made that year,
yeah.
last year, right?
Yeah, we
But
had some massive box office hits, particularly record breakers in a lot of regards with Joker and Endgame.
yep. And Endgame, even though I'm not a fan, it was very popular, and it's even though I would think
Hmm.
it's kind of a middle rating for people, but it wasn't a bad movie. John Wick, continuing, not the best John Wick, but certainly fun. Ford versus
It's
Ferrari,
serviceable, yeah.
acclaimed. I don't know what this is representing.
Oh
Joker.
no, us.
Oh well, yeah, that everyone's saying that's a really bad movie. Of course, Arnold, just
Yes,
go to sleep somewhere and have some
another
tequila.
bomb.
Yeah,
Charlie's Angels,
Cats,
another bomb. Cats,
terrifying, terrifying.
probably losing about $70 million.
Wow.
Do they have all the bombs on one side? That's what it looks like. They have all the
It
bomb
does actually,
movies that
yeah.
They
bombed
do.
on one side and all the successful movies on the other.
Well, and right in the middle is the review or the rating middle is which is Endgame and Gemini Man. Now, Gemini Man, from all accounts, is a pretty bad movie, but the
Mm,
reviewing on it was pretty middle of the ground in the end, as was Endgame. So yeah, that's what they did. It's kind of smart deadline. Those people actually have brain over there. Let me see here if they do an
mm,
actual breakdown. No, they just chatting. Oh, here we go. Of course, Disney was the most, as usual. They owned. You would think
yeah,
they would be much higher than that. They own 70% of
21%.
the frickin' industry.
Ugh,
Oh,
that is terrifying.
oh, goodness gracious. Next year, revivals are foaming at the mouth over the fact that there's more original slate in place for Disney. There is. So Black Widow looks like it might be fun. The Eternals, I'm terrified of. I don't even want to look at it. Warner
Yeah.
Brothers was number 2 at half. Oh goodness gracious. Um, and what are you doing? Stop that. Hi, okay. Then we had Universal. Fast and the Furious is where what's making them money right now,
All
of
this
course.
all this article's telling me is Disney needs broken up. It's
Yeah.
monopoly.
Yeah,
It's about enough of it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Disney. Uh,
I've seen articles that say that they've 80% of all profits in Hollywood this year were to Disney, or entertainment
Yeah,
were to
they have
Disney.
too much control.
yeah, yeah. But whatever. This was not a good year. There were a few good movies, but there were a lot of really bad things. Now I have to say, my daughter did watch How to Train Your Dragon, which I showed it to the kids way back when, and of course they've continued watching it, and she said it was a pretty good movie. And the good thing about the this last Train Your Dragon is it's an actual end. They ended it, which is cool.
Huh.
Yes.
Yeah, it is cool.
What a
Well, you
concept.
say they ended it, but then there's a Christmas special on Netflix where it's not
Oh,
over.
Well,
well.
whatever. But I mean,
Oh,
the
damn
main
it.
storyline, right? Main storyline. All right,
Yes. No,
cool.
it's a pretty good movie too. Actually, it's something you don't get out of Hollywood much anymore. It's a family focused movie.
Yeah, no, my Sakura
Mm,
said it was pretty good. Well, interesting. I'm not going to go through this entire article, but we know that this was just not a good year for movies, man. In the overrun, there are certainly, as it shows here in the beginning, there were some certainly good movies. There always will be, but overall, I think this was a year of political
I think from
correctness.
last year it was only down by like 5%, but considering that Disney took almost all of that themselves, overall the industry's dying. Disney
Yeah,
might
well,
be
sure.
thriving, but everybody else is dying.
Well, it's because 2017 was an uptick, right? But that was a great year, though.
2017 was an uptick, I think, just barely though. But 2016 before that was a huge downturn.
Yeah,
It was 2016 or 2015. I don't remember. One of them was a huge, like 20% downturn.
yeah. Well, we'll see what this year holds. I don't really know. Is there anything coming that is interesting to anybody? Hmm,
Not next year.
there
No,
you
I don't know
go.
when the next John Wick movie's coming out. I would imagine
mm, mm.
2022 or
I,
2021.
I definitely, I need more of that. I need more John Wick in me.
Well, hey, you got
Wick
to
me,
get
daddy.
your black female James Bond that don't need no man. So that's going to be big.
Oh, I don't want
That's
that at all.
that's gonna. Oh, it's not
Next
gonna.
flop, baby. Next
Yeah.
flop.
Well, dude, and the funny thing is, we just had a leak come out of that movie in the past few days, and it's it's exactly what we said. I'm shocked how accurate we are here,
We're
and
always accurate.
we are. And but the thing is, it doesn't show that we're particularly smart. It just shows how predictable they are,
Mm,
right?
Yes.
mm. But
Because
we're also big brained.
well, maybe that could be
Yeah,
part of it.
super duper.
But I mean, not only is you have the female thing, and he tries to hit on her, of course, and she ain't having none of it, right? But they're also hashtag me tooing James Bond in the movie.
No.
I was just talking to my wife about that earlier. If you think about James Bond, and we've all seen James Bond movies, how hard does Bond actually work to get the girl?
Not very.
Like at all.
He just has to stand there,
Uh-huh.
give her a wink, and the panties fly off.
That's
Well,
exactly.
we have to live in lefty SJW fantasy land where women don't throw themselves at men that are gorgeous. That doesn't
Yeah.
happen. That's just
Yeah.
they don't let rich men fondle them either for money. That doesn't happen. That's all made up. Trump's evil. Shut up.
Well, yeah, but you could be
Mm-hmm.
a fat, ugly bastard, but you got money. Same thing's got to happen, dude.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Are they afraid of their shallowness? Should they not embrace the
I mean,
shallowness of the
I'm
woman?
a fat, ugly bastard, but I don't have very much money.
No,
It's
you're a
pretty brutal.
freaking tomato wear.
Girls like that. What if they want their tomatoes weighed?
That's true. You'd be the right guy for the job. That's true. Anyway, now this, this.
What have we got? What have we got here?
Now we know that
what is happening?
Allison Mack is going to jail because she's an absolute
Ah,
monster. And this dude, for some, I don't really care or know who he is, but this lady over here, this one, because there's been rumors that she was part of what was going on, at least in the beginning. And there's a series of photos here that show that that is true. There's this private island, weird sex cult. You know, they seem to be all the rage, Thundero. Um, it's weird.
why can't I just hear about a rich guy who just has a nice island where nice things happen? Why do rich people always use their islands for sinister means?
Yeah, I know. Why can't you be more like Donald Trump? Have a hot chick. When she gets too old, divorce her and get another hot chick.
Yes.
You
There you
know,
go.
that's the
Yeah.
way you do that. Oh my
Mm-hmm.
God. Oh my God. She's smiling. Oh.
She's looking right at me.
Oh.
Oh, hello.
Oh.
She's a
Hi.
little cutie.
She is a cutie, and you know, you guys know. I think about you guys. Fan service, no breast. That's probably why she's a monster because she got upset because she had no breast. Oh goodness.
That'll
Oh
happen.
goodness.
Yeah.
Oh my God. There it is. It's in full effect.
Oh, oh
Oh
no.
no. Oh God. Oh God. I suppose these are
Oh,
famous people that were involved in this sex cult, and oh no. Oh, no. But anyway, you guys know I think about fan service. This goes on and on, by the way. So guilty. But I think about you guys. You know, I love you guys. So I always want to give you a little bit of service. Of course, you know, we don't.
this is
Oh,
not good
oh,
service.
Mr. Branson, really?
He owns the island, so he can do as he pleases.
Oh,
Oh, I
come on.
don't like the way he's looking at me. I don't. Change the photo down. I don't like the way he's looking at me,
That
Chester.
is perfect, dude. That is perfect, perfect, perfect. And he's drunk off his ass right there too. Oh, and it looks like oh no, no, no. Anyway, you guys know I think about you, so fan service is always first. And Kristen, it has
I just
nothing
don't
to do.
understand people. They especially like him. He has enough money. He can literally have a harem. He has his own island.
Yep,
He can just have a harem of women
yep,
that he pays to exist for him to have sex with. That'd be their job.
yep, and that's
And
not
yet,
uncommon, you know. It's
yeah,
quite
and he just does this weird sex slave stuff. Like, why? There's literally no purpose other than you're a freak.
Yeah, it's weird, but I'm not here to talk about the creepy sex cult and the villainy behind it. I'm here to talk about little Kristen because it has nothing to do with her being Asian, nothing at all, not a thing, not a single thing. But
Mhm.
that is a hottie, and I'm going to prove it to you right here. Oh, where did
Oh
it
no.
go? Oh, where'd it go? Where did I do? Where did it go?
Where'd it go? Oh no. I hope you. Oh, for goodness sake! I hope you didn't lose your little
There it
photos.
is. There it is. Oh,
Whoa, Chester. This is haram.
this is beautiful. Now, come on, now, baby. If the
That
it,
even actually be her? That looks like a photoshopped on face.
I have
It
no
does
clue.
look
Don't nor
slightly
do I care.
photoshopped.
That is
It's real now.
badass. That is
Yeah.
badass. That's a red-blooded
Sure, that's a
American
couple.
badass right there.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I
crazy
don't say
bastard.
change it.
Huh?
Just send me that photo after. Anyway.
Okay. But anyway, damn these people, man. But at least what's her face here is going to jail for it, and I'm sure there are other people too, but she's the only one that's interesting. But Kirsty Crook was certainly involved, most certainly involved. All right. And it sounds like she is a lesbian as well. So rock on. That's what we want. That makes our day. Next. Oh,
What do I
why?
have here? Second New Mutants trailer release date set. So they're still doing it?
Yeah, no, we've talked about this for a while. It's not being done. It's being done. It's being reshot again, and then reshot again, and then a third time, I think. And now we're getting a new trailer. So it's like, why is this movie so important? No one liked it. Disney didn't have to spend a penny on it. Why did they just shelf it? But it's the same thing with X-Men Apocalypse. It was a bad movie. They knew it was a bad movie, but they put it on anyway, and it bombed. So is this
You
simply
thinking of
just
Dark Phoenix?
Dark Phoenix? Sorry, well, Apocalypse wasn't
Yeah,
great either. But
yeah, yeah.
is this just somehow to take jabs at Fox? That doesn't make any sense. I don't know. I don't know what to think,
I
dude.
don't know either. It
Yeah.
seems like just pure obstinance at this point. They need to
They
just pack.
might think they have something. Who knows?
I
You know,
like the
they've got some.
concept, dude. I like the concept a lot. A horror filmed mutant movie, a horror theme. Sorry. Um, I like the concept quite a bit. But if I were Disney, I would have just started from the beginning. Just get a great horror director and his team together and have at it, right? I don't know. This
Mhm.
is a weird thing. This, of course, I have no clue what to say about it. They're seemingly doing it. There's a trailer being announced to us, so it's happening. And we, I don't know what to say because it's been so. Oh, this has been all over the place with this one. But I don't know. It's a weird cast if you look at it. They're supposed to be kids, so and they look youngish in their body, but they're old people, dude. Right? And now I know that's been in Hollywood forever. I get it, but they're not. And even Daisy Williams is what's her name? Daisy Williams,
Maisie Williams, yes,
Maisie Williams.
a
Even
little
though she is
goblin-looking chick.
she's very ugly. She did those girls from Game of Thrones did not age well, but
That's
at least she's
unfortunate.
young though. She is young.
Hmm.
Because this boy over here, that dude's pushing 30. This guy's definitely 30. This one here, this blonde in the back, I don't know. What do you think, Thundero?
Nah, probably though. You're probably pretty close.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Let's move on. But I don't know. It's a weird thing, dude. I don't know. I don't understand the thinking going over at Disney. But then again, that happens a lot. Just once again to remind you. Oh, well,
Oh,
very nice.
this is
Uh,
naughty.
Go ahead, dude.
Disney Plus confirms WandaVision is coming in 2020. Oh,
Well, now before I get into this
2020
article,
WandaVision.
I'm going to ask you and Thundero here a simple question while I go over and check to see if the chat has anything to say. Um, there was a series of there was a comic book series that came out a few years ago, and it had Vision trying to live the normal life, and
I read that.
he built his family and et cetera, et cetera. And it was a beautiful,
Hmm.
beautiful artistic style, and I thought it was pretty good. And I'm having a feeling
Mhm.
that's what they're basing it upon. What do you
I
think of the
think so.
chances of this?
Do you know who it was written by as well?
No,
Tom King.
dude. You and I both know Tom King can do
Hmm.
real well when he wants to.
He can, which is why he pisses me off.
Yeah, yeah. What do you think, Thundera?
I didn't hear your question there, Chester. Booster started talking. What did you say?
Oh no, well, I think this WandaVision is being based upon that Tom King comic book.
Hmm.
Oh,
What do you
yeah, I
think
can
about
care
that?
less about WandaVision entirely. It was the least important and least exciting part of the Infinity War movies. It's whatever. If they want to keep going with it, I guess. But I think everybody wants Wanda to just be who she is and not be tied to Vision, the most boring character in the Avengers.
No, okay, but I think they're going to be talking about that time that they were separated from everybody, trying to work things out. We saw in the Infinity War, right?
Great, just what we need. Marvel, the teen soap opera. Great,
Yeah,
wonderful.
maybe it might be. You might be 100% right. Eric Boy says yes. CW's versions are utterly dumpster fires. If they are, it's on. But they
Okay,
are young adult things. I get it.
hear
But
me out. What if this ended up being some kind of psychological show where it was within Wanda's insane mind when she has been broken by her powers or something? And she is trying to
ooh,
create a reality where she is happy, but there are outside forces that are constantly trying to mess this up for her, trying to bring it back to reality, and she's fighting it, and it makes some kind of like psychological horror within her mind. That's the show.
are you no, dude? Oh no. So you're suggesting that they're going to take a different reason for the House of M, and this is going to be the House
Yeah.
of M. So it's not Wanda and Vision. It's Wanda Vision. Oh.
Once.
See,
That's
Booster's
just
here for a reason.
that's what I think it's going to be, and I think that would be a cool show.
It
You want
could
to
be
know my
cool.
response to that, Booster?
What's
You
that?
ready?
Oh wow, wow, wow. You
Piss
don't
off.
think a House of M run would be cool, dude?
Now, with Disney doing it, no. Scarlet Witch in Disneyverse is the most boring character there is.
Well,
She
no.
could be cool. She could be really cool, but they just have absolutely no interest in making her that. Instead, they want to tie her into this retarded love story that nobody cares about. She's in love with a robot. It's the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Although it was a big part of her character
It
for
is
a
weird.
while, but the real uh, I 100% agree with you, but I'm not sure that it's the character's fault. This actress, which I don't know her name offhand, but which is a problem. I don't know her name offhand because she's boring.
Exactly.
She has no charisma
Exactly.
whatsoever. Now she seems like a nice girl. She does. I haven't heard her making a bunch of noise and her putting her ass out there. I haven't heard that. She seems like a nice lady. But she's got the charisma of a wet paper bag, dude. I mean, she just, that's the
Well,
problem.
She's a great
say for
wreck,
her is like you
She's
said, she
pretty.
stays out, she keeps her head down, she's real pretty and stuff. And I don't even know if it's necessarily. I mean, I don't think she's super charismatic, but I don't think any of the women in the Marvel movies are super charismatic. Even Scarlet isn't. She's all right, but she's not. She can't lead a movie herself. We've
No,
seen
she
that. They all
can't.
come.
No.
Um,
She's a good
you
co-star
know,
though.
none of them are Wonder Woman, whose name just complete Gal Gadot. None of them have that level of charisma.
You know,
And
how bizarre is that though? Because we saw Gal Gadot from the Fast and Furious series, and she was kind of like a wet noodle, dude. It was like nothing.
mm,
And it was like, oh
Give
my
me
God, can
everything.
she
Yeah.
handle this? She did a fair job, and that's a fair five movie, right? Middle of the road movie. It's not bad, not bad at all.
well, not even that. She in it is great.
Yeah,
She has all the she steals the scene every time she's in it. Like she kills it. As even in the movies with all the other guys, she does that. She kills it.
uh, she is a
So
hottie,
yeah, but so are the girls in the Marvel movies. They're really hot too. Like the one, like Scarlet Witch. She's gorgeous, but
isn't
she
it?
just doesn't have that. I think part of it is because they want to. They're not letting her be Scarlet Witch. Scarlet Witch is a great character.
Oh yeah,
Not in these movies, she's not. She's
yeah.
bland. She's just a love interest story
It's
that
safe.
nobody,
Yeah,
nobody, even the
it's true.
women that watch them care about really. Like, I trust me. I go to these movies with a woman. She doesn't care. She's like, ugh. She every time. Ugh, come on. I came here to watch big muscle dudes fight each other. I didn't
That's
come to
right.
watch this.
Well, that's what the
Mhm.
women want. They want
The
they want
female gaze.
Chris Hemsworth, right? Is what they want. But
Yes,
Chris Evans. But isn't there a scene in Fast and Furious where Gal Gadot takes her panties off so that she might more effectively sat upon a man's lap and get information from him? Doesn't she do that?
sounds about right.
Oh
Sounds about right.
my. Hmm.
I'm gonna look up that scene real quick now.
Anyway, continuing on here. Nick C says, "I love the boys. Yeah, the boys are awesome." Greg or Berlanti is biggest problem over at CW. Yeah, I agree with that. The Flash season one should have been called Reverse Flash. That's why I watched. It was pretty good too. Eric
Yeah,
says, "I think they finally canceled Agents of Shield. They did. Rogue One, best thing, Mandalorian baby, in Baby Yoda, we trust. Yeah, and Disney is absolutely screwing the pooch by not selling literally billions of Baby Yoda dolls.
Yes.
yes.
I don't know what the hell's wrong with them.
They're
The
also
only
screwing the pooch by not letting Feige and the Italian guy whose name escapes me just
Pedro
run
Pascal.
Star
Filoni.
Wars for the next decade at least, and let them see what they can do.
Oh, you mean
Just
Favreau?
give it to them.
I see. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
in there. Yeah, Favreau and the Italian guy, the other guy who's doing the
Filoni, yeah, Filoni, yeah.
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 Mhm.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. Nick says the only thing I remember from Rogue One were Darth Vader and Digi Leia. Well, the Darth Vader scene stole the damn movie, but it overall was a very watchable movie, dude. Jennifer H says,
Yeah,
"Is there?"
the movie's pretty good. Just the main character, like you said, is just kind of bland. Like there's nothing.
Yeah, that's the. It could have been great if they had a strong actress. Now, here I'm going to say something controversial. I
Uh,
actually think the movie would have been better if Ray was that main character, the Daisy Ridley. Not Ray, but Daisy Ridley was playing that character. Yeah, I even
Oh
think that
no.
she is better actress than that girl. And we're talking about a cardboard cutout with Daisy Ridley, right? I mean, Daisy, is that her name?
I would just take a
Mhm.
45 minutes. They don't have to do a whole 2 hours. 45 minutes of Vader just kicking the shit out of Rebels. That would have been.
Yeah,
Give me
right.
that.
Gotta
Give me
be
that
cool.
movie.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah,
awesome.
dude. Yeah.
Mm.
I don't even need to
Oh,
know the story. He just goes around, he just shows up and starts killing rebels. That's fine with me.
fine with me. And then a showdown with Luke. Yeah, that'd be badass. Let's see.
Oh yeah.
Jennifer H says, "Is there an equivalent to Sesame Street in Japan?" Several, actually. That format you can find in, I'd imagine, every country. But of course, the most direct answer to your question, Jennifer, is Sesame Street is in Japan. Eric Boyd says, although I lost interest in anything Star Wars quite some time ago, yeah, unfortunately, we all have. I think your speculation about Disney and George Lucas seems legit to me. Yeah, dude, I really think there's something to that. I really do. Because from a business point of view, I don't understand if that's in your contract, which we know is it. We know it's in there now, right? If that's in your contract, why would you do anything that would cause you to have to give pennies out to George? Why? You wouldn't. You would stay as far away as you can, especially because Thundero was talking about people were clamoring for a Skywalker, but you know what? Just as many, if not more, were clamoring for Knights of the Old Republic,
Hmm.
right? So I don't know, but I think there's something to that. Jennifer says my children love the game series. Yeah, no, Dragon Quest is great for kids. Super Happy Fun Time Go gives kids seizures. Thank you, Nick. Tom Hardy, yeah, see, I agree, Cult. Eric Boyd says, my apologies. I failed to mention you in my comment, Chester. I mean, your speculation specifically. Oh, no, dude, I got it. Yeah, I feel there's something there. Tom Ellis of Lucifer, ooh, from Howl Comics, back in the
He's
day.
talking about Nathan Drake. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Back in the day, Grant Morrison and Mark Millar had a huge falling out. Oh, did they? I think the box office take was 4% down from previous year, from what I've read. Oh, there you go. Thank you, Eric. So Thundero's correct again.
Yeah.
God, I
Yeah.
hate
Yeah.
that. What?
So does my wife. Don't worry, you're not alone.
Yeah, yeah. Cult Film Video says Ford versus Ferrari is the best movie of the year and the first great racing movie. And it's nice to see a movie about actual men. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it. My wife wants to watch it too, so it's caught her attention, right?
I kind of want to see it too. The other one I want to see is the new Midway movie. I've heard it's very old school throwback with they don't try and social justice it up. There's not a bunch of random Indian guys on the battleships during the Battle of Midway. So
Mhm.
looks pretty good.
Yeah, no, we see that stupid stuff. Like I watched The Witcher the other
Yeah,
day, right?
I was just watching it last night and I went, why are there so many black people? What's going
Right.
on?
No, dude, it's worse than that. That whole thing is an absolute debacle. And I know Booster's all loving it, but this shows you his lack of culture and sophistication.
Wait,
Because
what am I loving? What are you
The
what are you
Witcher,
mocking me for?
The Witcher, dude, that thing is horrible. First of all, it's
What?
not about The
The Witcher
Witcher at
show?
all. It should be called The Story of Yennefer, is what they should have called it.
Oh.
And I'd be fine with that, by the way. I think what they've done with the Yennefer character in that is pretty cool. But everything in that it's either Geralt is hardly in it to start with. Although when Henry Cavill is on
Mm.
this screen, he's badass, badass. He's
Yes.
killing Geralt, dude. But he's
Yes.
hardly in it. The story's about all the women around him, not him at all, right? And
That
then
doesn't sound true at all.
it is very true, dude. And
Have you been watching it?
I did watch it, dude. I watched 3 episodes
Oh.
and I couldn't stomach anymore. Um, and
Oh.
and the thing with
Jeez.
it is, not only is it insulting that we have this continuing trope of going on, you can't have a white person with a white person, right? There's always got to be a black person switched out. It's usually white dude, black lady, but we see it the other way around. And of course, in Witcher, we see that. They cannot stand to have white people dating each other anymore. And it's disgusting. And it's clear that the order has gone out because we see all kind of different companies, directors that have no association, it's seemingly that they're all doing it. So the order has been given in Hollywood, right?
Oh,
And that same trope.
every commercial over here. I don't know how it is over there, but every commercial over here,
Yep.
that
Yep.
if there's a couple, it's rare to see a mono race couple.
Yeah, no,
You would the way they do it, like their excuse, they say, well, we want the world, or we want the entertainment world to reflect the world outside. There's not
bullshit.
that many mixed race people. What do you
Uh,
like mixed race couples and stuff? Doesn't happen that much. I don't
yeah.
care if it happens,
Well,
but the
I'm mixed
reality is it
race.
doesn't happen that much.
I have a mixed race coupling myself. But the thing with it is, dude, black people in America make up 12% of the population. Get a freaking grip, dude. But this is a Polish story, right? It's a Polish, very similar to Lord of the Rings in the way that it's kind of a trying or telling of the ancient culture in a fantastic way, right? That's what it is.
Mhm.
And you literally, not only are they disrespecting it in many ways, but the leader of the Guild of Mages, the leader is a black dude in frickin' medieval Poland,
Oh,
right?
oh.
I mean, it's just insulting. It's insulting.
I wonder how that, if they're showing that in Poland at all. I wonder if it's on in Netflix.
They're already up in arms about it. Although the writer of The Witcher said he loves, and it's interesting the way, and I mentioned it when we read that article. He said he loves Henry Cavill as Geralt. He didn't say
Yeah,
he loved the series,
yeah.
and that was done intentionally
Yeah, I
because
think that's kind of the consensus
well, he's
for
kicks
most
ass,
people.
dude. He's
He is
perfect.
his voice is perfect. He's got a good enough look. I mean, he's not perfect look, but he's good enough, and he's built. He's a actually built guy, physical, athletic guy. Um, the thing that surprised me was how good his voice is. Like he nailed it. He absolutely kills that voice. It sounds
Hmm,
just
hmm.
exactly as Geralt is described and
Mhm,
is in the game. It's smooth and a little rough, but it's deep and it's like it's just great. It's instantly gets your attention.
mhm,
Um,
mhm.
he has the even I was telling Booster when I was watching, I was surprised because he has a very specific walk. Geralt does because of all of his mutations and things. He has that. He nailed it. He
Yeah,
absolutely is that character.
yeah. And of course, another issue you're having with it is I agree with everything Thundera just said. When Henry Cavill is on the scene, on the screen, it's awesome. The problem is he's not on it enough, right? In some episodes he's hardly in the damn thing because what they're using him as is as a camera in a way, and an
Mhm.
indirect camera, by the way.
Which is
He's going
strange in his own show.
yeah, he's a stranger in his own show, just walking along, and things are happening. We're just following his little path, and they're also playing with time a lot in this. The various set pieces that they're doing are set at different times from each other, right? Now I recognize what they're doing, but I've read the books, and I know what should be where. And another thing, all the video game people complaining and them say, hey, don't complain. We're basing it on the movie, so shut up. I mean, but we're basing it on the book, so shut up, dude.
Mhm.
They're not. It's like a double lie, right? But yeah, no, Booster, I do apologize, dude, but no, it sucks.
It's
Um,
interesting. You can see
okay.
how much you can see how much stroke Cavill does have as far as his role, because he was very adamant. If he was going to do this and he wanted to do it, he
Yeah,
wanted to do it justice. He wanted to be Geralt as best as he could, nail
oh,
it,
he's
kill it.
awesome.
Obviously, he's killing it.
He's killing it.
You can tell he had input in that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
But in other stuff, he probably didn't get to say anything. And plus, he's in Hollywood. So even if he was like, well, why are there so many black people? He'd be crucified if he
Right,
even just said that.
right.
So he's not going to say that. He's not that stupid. But it's just fascinating to me how much power he has over his own performance because
Yeah.
you can tell when an actor really believes in a character or a character like Tony Stark is for Robert Downey Jr. is effortless for them, it's so much better. Like it just comes across so good. And this is exactly what's happening in that show. And I think it's him that is honestly carrying the show entirely and carrying the goodwill that it seems to be getting because
Yeah,
he's so good. People
he
want to
is
see
good.
more of him,
He
which is a
is.
good thing for the show that people want to see more of him, but we need to see more of him. Like
Well,
it's his show. He should be the centerpiece of his own darn show.
see, the thing with it, though, I agree with everything you said. But the thing with it is, his character is completely detached from what else is going on in the story. Matter of fact, if you pulled just his story elements out, they wouldn't. Everything else wouldn't matter, and you can make half of one episode with what they've shown of him already. and it would make or just little mini 15-minute episodes.
Right.
That's the reality of it. And it honestly seems like that's what's going on. They have two TV shows going on at the same time. They got one where you get a little snippets of Geralt, and then you have these other storylines going on. And like I said, I actually think it's cool what they're doing this the story of Yennefer. I Why didn't you just make that? I think it's pretty interesting, but don't call it The
Well, what
Witcher.
I'm hoping for is what the plan is this might be like a test in the waters type season, right? Cavill's gonna is a lot of money, so they can't put him on the
Yeah,
screen too
right.
much on a new show. So what they can do is what they've been doing, and then if it's successful, give him more money so he'll be on the screen more. That's what I'm hoping is going on, and it's not just full on agenda, but it's Netflix, and they're super freaking woke,
Mm,
so it's probably full on agenda, if I'm being honest.
yeah. Yeah, no, it is. Let me catch up with the chat real quick. Hollow Comic says Booster equals tomato 007. I agree. Next TFT sex cults. Well, this week I thought Thunder and I were going to be doing eugenics,
Oh
but
yeah,
we are right.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So this Sunday we're doing TFT 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Of course, we're doing eugenics, but I think sex cults would be a fine conversation, and I could go find plenty of pictures. I'm sure. Um, yeah. Eric Hawkins says, "What is that about? Crook is starring a Canadian taxpayer-funded TV show. How does that work? Yeah, right. You confirm Branson owns the Necker Island. Yeah, yeah, no, he does. They said that in the article. He's a billionaire. They're freaks. Jennifer H, busy hands. Yeah, she talked about my wife doing jazz hands. Chester, clean it up. Keep it clean. I apologize. Chester likes to touch up photos of Kristen Crook. Uh, I agree with the first part of that expression. Weird waste of a lot of money. No, I disagree about the concept for placing the New Mutants in a horror movie setting. Just my opinion, Eric Boyd. Okay, I just thought it was cool. I don't have a real opinion on it, Eric. I just think, ooh, mutants in a horror setting. Oh, that could work. You know what I'd like to see? Screw the New Mutants, dude. I want to see the Morlocks and the Marauder storyline. That's what I'd like to see. That would be badass, dude. That'd be bloody ass horror as well.
That'd be
Sheldon,
pretty good.
hey, Sheldon, what's up, dude? I want Wanda to play the bad teacher at the Xavier School. I'd pay to see that. Oh, so you want her dressed scantily? I get it. Okay. Uh, 40 of Vader fighting. 40 of Vader fighting would be epic. I mean, 40 minutes, I guess. Midway 1917 and the Vietnam film all look epic. Ah, cool. Sheldon says that's like boobs. Every episode, you got something against boobs, Chester? No, I don't. I most certainly don't. It's easy for me to get all the races because it's about mutants and dragons. Lots of made up stuff. Oh, cool, cool. That's not the point. I mean, some of my favorite actors in Hollywood are black people, dude. I mean, Denzel Washington, come on. Eddie Murphy, really? I mean, there's a lot of what's that dude in the 48 Hour series? He's awesome. Played Murtaugh. But that's not the point. It has nothing to do with it. What if you did the opposite? What if I went and I made a remake of Shaka Zulu, but yet Shaka Zulu was a little Asian man? Is this okay?
Pretty funny.
I'm just saying, right? Yeah, I mean, or half his tribe was, from India or something like that. It does. It's about being true to the story. And you know what I felt when I was watching The Witcher? What I felt was this. There's the people over there wanted to make a fantasy-based system where women rule everything. That's what they wanted to make, right? And instead of just making their own thing, and making it well, they took The Witcher, which has certain elements. There's a lot of really strong females in The Witcher, actually, and they twisted it to their own agenda. And I haven't seen the whole season, but I'm not going to because I couldn't get past three. I mean, every time Henry was on the screen, I loved it. Everything else was, I actually liked in some ways, but it's like, no, dude, screw this. Because the only other really strong actor in that damn show was the dude who played the king who had sex with his sister and created a frickin' vampire monster. That guy was a good actor. Everybody else is meh, meh. It's not cool, dude. And let's see. Corona says, "Wait, what? Where does Chester want to touch? Don't ask questions you don't want the answer to." Roger Hiller says, "May everyone stay blessed." And thank you. Bye, Roger. Eric says, "Mr. Miller isn't feeling well, so they are canceling D&Q today." Oh, that's too bad, dude. I did send all your information over though, Eric, so they had it. All right, I'm caught up. I'm 100% caught up now. We don't have a D&Q now. I was going to stop because it starts soon, but I'm going to finish my news because I'm not done. Is that all right with you guys?
Sounds good to
Eh,
me.
if you like.
I am. Next. Ooh. Oh my God. Booster.
Rise of Skywalker makes it clear Star Wars needs Ryan Johnson, whatever it is. I couldn't help but post this because this was some hilarious level bloody clickbait. High
Oh, you
tier
fill my
clickbait.
heart. Oh,
I I gotta read this, Ned, because this is ultra clickbait. Uh,
Mhm.
The concluding
oh.
chapter of the nine-part saga, Skywars saga, Star Wars: Rise of Skywalker, has met with a decidedly mixed reception. You think, with many finding it a satisfying ending, while others were disappointed by what ended up on screen. That's to be expected, as even critically lauded Star Wars films divide the fan base. Well, first of all, I think what you're seeing with this film is no one likes it. So I don't know what you're thinking here, because I haven't heard any real positive about it. It's the people like myself are like, yeah, whatever, typical. They're not going to catch me up with their baiting, and then the other ones are just upset because somehow Kylo's dead, and that matters, as if he ever mattered. Anyway, however, the Rise of Skywalker, following the controversial eighth film, The Last Jedi, the audience is only further fragmented. The Last Jedi actively ignored what fandom wanted, which runs in accordance with director Ryan Jensen's typical desire to subvert expectations. How many times have we read this expression, subvert expectations, or Jar Jar Abrams mystery boxes, right?
Subvert expectations. Basically, it's just their
Like
little
it's a good thing.
band-aid term for when they do something really, really,
Yeah.
really, really stupid, and then they can be like, "Oh, well, you just don't get it. I was subverting your expectation."
Yeah,
No,
but see,
you just suck.
the
That's
thing
what the
is,
problem is.
it does suck. And the thing with that is, Thundero, that's not how you write stories anyway. You don't
Correct.
subvert expectations, you meet expectations. When
Yes.
you're writing a story, you want to keep it as familiar and safe as possible, and then you put yourself a little couple of little twists in there, and then everyone thinks it's super epic. That's how you write. You
Because
don't
here's
subvert
why.
expectations.
Real simple. If everybody feels like they know where the story's going, when you throw the subversion in, the twist in, you get them because they're not
Yeah,
ready for it, because they're
that's
drawn
right.
in. You're not going to get drawn in and immersed into a world that is nonsense from the get, right? It's just not going to happen, especially one that's well established like Star Wars, and you walk in and you feel like you're immediately being attacked by purple-haired lesbians.
Oh,
So
that's exactly what that was. Yeah.
yeah. So I just don't understand what expectations he was subverting when the entire film from bell to bell was just a constant attack on everything that made Star Wars great.
Yeah. Well,
Literally from beginning to end.
it's clear he doesn't like Star Wars. It's quite clear,
Correct.
right? He had many issues with Star Wars because he's a communist, and that was although it's rebels fighting against an empire, it's more of the American revolution, not the
Hmm.
communist one. And you think I'm joking? I'm not. That's exactly what his problem with the movies were. Because he doesn't like it, and the things you saw he didn't like were very clearly along those type of patriotic themes, right?
Yeah.
Now it says that his subversive style in the Noir Brick, which I've never even heard of, a science fiction looper, which I don't know, he didn't subvert expectations in that movie at all, and it
No.
wasn't a bad little popcorn flick actually.
No, it was
And
just basic time travel
Yeah.
shenanigans.
It was no where, but where did he subvert expectations in that movie?
He didn't at all.
Yeah, I don't
And
know
in
what they're
fact,
talking
the,
about.
the conclusion I figured out was going to be the conclusion 20 minutes into the movie.
Oh
So I
yeah,
don't
yeah,
know.
that's true. But it was a fun little idea, though.
Yeah.
Now, maybe they're talking about the kid being this ultra death
But
machine.
that's
Is
been
the
done to death. I mean,
It has, yeah.
how many times do we have to see that same trope? It was obvious that's who that was
Oh
from the
yeah, that's true. That's true. But it was still a fun little flick. But I don't
yeah, it was
agree
good.
with this
I liked
article
it.
at all. Yet the same approach, when applied to Star Wars, only led to controversy. No, no, no. Who wrote this? Hold on a second. You're about to get chastised, Anthony.
Oh, there's a
What
no
kind of
wonder he's
last name is
upset
that?
in life.
Ramulga.
No
What
wonder
is
he's bad in life. Look at that name.
All
what is
right,
that?
Anthony. We're
I
going
don't
to
like it.
investigate Anthony here for a second. Hold on a second. I'm going to
You're
investigate
gonna
this
have
for
no
a second.
trouble finding
Yeah,
a space with a last name like that.
All
Gramuglia
right.
sounds like a monster in The Witcher. Gramuglia.
Yeah.
Why did it come to this? That's not what I wanted. What the hell are you doing, Google?
Uh,
Yeah, let's do this one. All right. All right, let me see here. What do you look like, Anthony? You're not helping me out, Anthony. Damn it. He doesn't exist.
Oh no. Oh, here is just that top one right there.
oh yeah, click that top one. It says web. It looks like a website with his name on it.
Oh, he's one of these
Oh
guys.
no.
He has
Oh
icons
boy,
instead of showing his face. Oh, wait, hold on a
he's
second.
straight out of Twitter or straight out of Tumblr.
Yeah, he is. He's a
Mm-hmm.
Tumblr boy.
Tumblr refugee. Yeah?
Uh-huh. 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 But whatever, dude. You are absolutely incorrect. Those movies have no connections. What he did in Last Jedi was make Kathleen Kennedy happy. That's what he did. Moving on. Oh, now, I just wanted to mention this just offhand, like I spend much time with it. What I'd like to do is get Aaron to come on and talk to us. But this Indiegogo that's going on right now, they've made a little bit of money. They get they got some. This finished already, but they're going around showing it, talking about it coming out and stuff. But this is a great looking little book, and I saw it on the fan speak, and I just wanted to mention it's really cool art. Yeah.
Looks pretty sweet. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm,
it is. I like it, dude. I like it.
cyberpunk action, huh? I like it.
Yeah. But
This is
anyway,
it. This is the decade. I'm telling you,
So,
Cyberpunk's decade is this one right here.
Cyberpunk's
so
cool too, dude.
that's in yen. How much is that in US dollars that it's got so far? How much does it need,
About
Chester?
$1,500, and I think it's finished.
Oh.
Actually, I
Oh,
do think it's finished. It is. Yeah, it's finished, and they funded. I just saw it on the
oh,
fan
that's good.
speak, and because they're talking about it coming out. I guess I just thought it was, because they didn't talk to these guys, and I just thought it was a great looking little book, and I just want to mention it is all. That's it. I just think it looked
Hmm.
cool. Cybershock 1.0, dude. Check it out. Maybe you're interested in. You can still pick up a copy. I'm sure you can. But yeah, it looks nice. Anyway. Oh,
Oh,
no. God.
naughty. Ah.
All
Oh
right.
no.
Here we are. And that's all I had for today. But yeah, pretty interesting. Nice news. A little bit of comic stuff there. I think I did skip one thing, solicitation, but we don't have time for that. But put up by Somley of some company. But yeah, pretty interesting. I think 2020 is going to be an interesting year. Hopefully, there'll be some fun things and there'll be some changes, and we'll see some successful books and maybe even a few good movies. I'm not going to hold my breath, but the thing I know, and I've been saying here for a year, trying to soothe your worries, this is coming to an end. It is. The
Mhm.
cycle is ending out. It is closing out. And it's starting to blow up in absolutely fantastic ways. It is not a coincidence that we're seeing these communists lose their positions all over the world. It's not a coincidence. It's the pushback. Now, of course, we know the pushback, which is showing itself in a nationalistic way. It will go too far. We know it always swings way too far past the pendulum. We should have a few years of perfect peace here soon. I think. What do you think, Thunder?
I think it'll really depend. There's a few different political and cultural things that'll decide it here coming up. What's going on in Virginia, especially, is a
Oh
big
yeah.
deal.
Yep.
Uh, but I don't think it's going to last for very long, even if it gets violent. And the reason I think that is, for one, the one side's ready for it, the other side's not.
Oh
So if
yeah.
it does get violent, the rural people in America are going to take a very Maoist strategy and just starve the cities. And then what?
Oh yeah.
What are they going to do?
Yeah.
They don't have any food. So I don't know what will happen in that regard, but I do think by the end of the decade, one of two things will happen. One side will come to rule the other. Uh, and I do hopefully believe it'll be the sane people because that's usually what happens. Might
Yeah.
not. Sometimes it's not the sane people, and you get the Bolshevik Revolution and 100 million dead. But it could. It probably will be the sane people. And culturally, I think we're in for conflict breeds great culture, and I
Yeah.
think we're in for a cultural revolution worldwide. The
Yeah.
last decade was terrible. It was garbage culturally. It just was sanitized popcorn HR films, and everything was all neat and factory like and corporate. I don't think that's going to keep happening. It just isn't, and it hasn't been all this year. The movies that took chances and things like in movies did great. Look at the Joker. Nobody expected that movie to be a success, at least not that big of a success, and it blew
Mm.
everybody's expectations out of the
Yeah.
water. So I
Yeah.
think we're on the cusp of a return to normalcy. I think you're starting to see all over the country. You're starting to see masculine forces in America. As America goes, so goes the world. At least for now. So you're starting to see a resurgence of masculinity in these communities, even in like everybody, not just white people or whatever. Everybody, we're done. We're tired of being what's the word, nagged like by these people who are basically women, the worst kind of woman, the kind of woman that makes you want to put a bullet in your head, the one that just keeps on you about everything all the time. Um, I think society's done with that, and I think you're going to start to see that culturally start to shift, especially if things turn bloody.
Mhm.
And I hope that doesn't happen, but I think it probably will before the end of the decade, at least to some scale in local
I
areas.
think there might be a little bit of conflict. I mean, we are in the middle of a culture war anyway. I mean, it's an actual culture war. But
Yes.
we're starting to see some shifts. And Virginia is very important, and everybody should be paying attention to Virginia
Hmm.
because nearly the entire state has made them so their counties have made themselves a sanctuary, a Second Amendment sanctuary place. And you're going to have to try, they're going to have to do some pretty serious stuff to try to force that out. And I think what's going to happen when that voting comes in January 18th, I think it is, um,
Hmm.
or it's January something. I can't remember. When that voting comes, what you're going to see is thousands, if not tens of thousands, of people from outside Virginia walk up into Virginia and stand alongside
Yes.
them. Uh,
Yes. And it's not just Virginia. There's similar governorships. I'm just going to call them dictators.
Kansas,
That's what they
yeah,
are.
Kansas, yeah.
You got Kansas, you got Louisiana, you got Washington.
Mhm.
They're trying it everywhere. They're trying a big full spectrum dominance plan, which is what they're doing.
Uh-huh.
It's not going to work because I really think the sane people, and it's not just right wing people, there's left wing people opposing it too, are just done. They're tired of the bullshit. It's
Yeah,
been a decade of it now. It got real quiet under Obama for a little while, but Obama's been gone for what, 5 years now, 4 years? And I think people are just tired of it. It really started about halfway through Obama's second term is when they really started to get riled up. These
yeah. Well, he and
censorious
he checked out
authoritarians. Yeah,
because
yeah.
he's not that crazy, you know.
No, he
Um,
even tried to calm him down in
he did,
2016.
he
He's like,
did,
"Whoa, guys, you gotta
yeah,
you gotta bring it down. What are
yeah.
you doing?"
Well, he's just a standard politician, is what he is, right?
Yeah.
But he's not a true believer. But yeah, no, it's going to be it's going to be an interesting year, and it's going to kick off here just in a couple
One
weeks
last
too.
thing, as far as predictions for the culture, like this SJW, everybody pandering to them for some reason, even though they're a tiny fraction of every population in the world. Um, that's going to end for two reasons. It's going to end very soon. I've always said it's going to be by 2022, 2023, somewhere in there, because China wants nothing to do with it, and their market's just going to keep growing. It's not going anywhere for anytime soon. And East Asia in general isn't going anywhere anytime soon. So that's going to start stifling that. They already stifle it over there. They already shut.
Japanese don't care either. Yeah,
And two, I genuinely do think you're going to see a resurgence of traditionalist family values in America. It's
yeah,
already starting to happen. It's already happening in Gen Z. Even if they lean left with like their policies and their ideas, when it comes to the questions of morality, they're pretty much all right down that line. So I think you're going to start to see a big resurgence of that, and these people, they're going to get laughed at a lot. Like they don't
Yep.
like being mocked now. It's going to get a lot worse in the next few years. They have no idea what they've created, and it's coming. There's a million more people like that Soph girl who got shut down off YouTube, who were making tongue-in-cheek videos about
Mm,
Islam and stuff. Um, that stuff's coming in a way, and eventually these kids are going to be voting. So
that's
right
true.
now they don't have any political power. They're just
That's true.
kids.
Yeah.
Just wait till they get some political power.
You know,
It's done.
you
The
know what
writing's on the wall.
it is on writing is on the wall. But you know what one of the casualties are going to be of this, because I think your points are very true. And of course, this is going to upset Boosted the most. Pornography is going to take a big hit, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry,
And I think it
Booster.
You
needs.
can have
I
my
think.
porn when you
I
take
think.
my dick out of my cold, dead hands.
I think
Okay, no,
the
hold
problem
on.
is
Give him class for that. That was pretty good. That was pretty
the
good.
ancients figured it out a long time ago.
Yeah.
Everything in moderation,
Yep.
vice and virtue, all of it. You
That's
have to
right.
balance it against what makes sense reasonably and what actually happens. So if you do one thing and you keep doing one thing and bad stuff happens, well, stop doing that thing. It's
Yeah.
real simple.
It's
Just
very
stop doing
simple.
that thing. And I think we've been inundated with sexuality, with like hardcore porn sexuality, not healthy sexuality like beauty and art,
Yeah.
but hardcore porn sexuality. And it's not been healthy for us. I think you are right. I think we're going to see a pullback on that
Oh yeah.
in the next generation, in the next few years. I really do think culturally we're on the verge of a fantastic decade. I just genuinely have that feeling.
Yeah, no, and the one of the casualties going to be this just decadence, but it always does. This is nothing new, guys. This has happened many times in history. My son asked me a question the other day. He says, "How did Rome fall?" And I gave him a very lengthy answer into it, of course, as I'm apt to do. But it fell the same way that things are happening now. The same exact thing. Nothing new, guys. They were transgender movements, homosexual marriages. It was the same. And that was 2000, well, almost 2000 or 1500 years ago, if I was, or so. It's nothing new. This comes and goes. And I don't know why Kronos is talking about giant beavers. I really don't know. And I don't think I want to know. Uh, Sheldon says, "Did Booster take a nap?" I think he did. I think he did. All right. Let's see. I think it seems like we're part of the Zeller experiment. Oh, well, we're part of a lot of experiments, Jennifer. Uh,
Doing an
Rome fell
experiment right
from
now,
within.
baby.
It did. But, in reality, Rome didn't fall at all, right? This
Right.
is kind of my point that I'm trying to make. They talk about the fall of Rome. It's a nonsense statement. It never fell. What happened was the people, the elites who were in charge of Rome, were so decadent and so into their weird sex, creepy sex stuff, and their fashion and all their vapidness that they didn't pay attention to their fellow citizens
Yes.
In Europe who were complaining about needing some help with stuff, and they didn't listen to them. So their fellow citizens came up out of Europe and took over Rome, and it
Hmm.
became what we see as the Holy Roman Empire. It didn't fall at all, guys.
No.
Yeah,
No. Fall. Uh, implies that it toppled over under its own weight. That's not really what happened. What
not
happened
at
is it
all.
became so decadent that it couldn't defend itself anymore, and it was
Yeah.
conquered.
It was,
Um,
and the problem that came out of it really, which created the Dark Ages wasn't the infrastructure of Rome falling apart, because it didn't. It was just that once they had the European peoples took their power, they just were infighting and they kind of separated. So you get this
yes.
separation, this breaking up of Rome, not the falling of Rome.
Well, Rome is the greatest proof that multiculturalism just doesn't work.
Hmm.
Rome worked great when they had a superculture that they enforced very rigidly. They allowed some other parts of the culture they took over to exist just for cohesion,
Hmm.
but for the most part, everybody was Roman, and they considered everybody. If you were a
That's
citizen
right.
of Rome, it didn't matter where you were from, you were a citizen of Rome, you had to follow Roman traditions.
That's right.
When they stopped enforcing that heavily and started becoming more decadent, focusing on vanity, things like this, that's when Rome started to fall, quote unquote.
Yeah,
Really, what you're even saying is in a way, yeah, Rome didn't actually fall, but the idea of Rome fell long before Rome was conquered.
that's
What
very
made
true. Yeah.
built Rome was destroyed. It's the same thing that's happened here. It was subverted from within. It was knocked out by decadence, greed, and other forces. And that's what's happening
Depravity.
to America. The exact same thing's happening to America now. We're
Yeah.
watching it in real time, except
Mhm.
now we have the ability to actually record it.
Well,
And
more
it's
they recorded it too, but more. I get what you're saying, but we're seeing the same breakup as well. We're
yes,
seeing breakup. Canada, there's many provinces that want to break away, like we talked about Alberta. California wants to separate itself. You're seeing people breaking away from the European Union, and we're going to see more of that. It's the same thing that happened. It's the same thing, and it's shocking how much it's the same, actually.
it's happening. Like I said, it's happening in America. We had an American superculture. There were subcultures that were allowed to exist and reside within as long as they basically swore fealty to the American superculture. They started to get too big and too powerful. The American culture started waning because it lost its sense of identity. Americans don't have the sense of identity they had even when you lived here, Chester.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
And yeah, without that super culture above them, everybody just goes into their own little tribal huddles and everything falls apart. And
Yeah,
that's
but
exactly what's happening all over the country.
how did it happen so quick though, dude? I was in America at 9/11. I was.
Mhm.
And I left a couple years later. But or a year later. But I was there. And the patriotic feel in the country was the strongest I had ever felt in my lifetime. I mean, everyone was wearing those little flag pins and it was a very patriotic feeling. So how in that 19 years since that happened, how in the it's not even 19 years, how did we fall to this America was never great? How did this happen so quickly?
Well, that was even, if you remember, I remember hearing they were considered crazies at the time. Extremists were saying the same thing when that was happening, and it's actually really simple. Communists, they infiltrate. They've been infiltrating for decades, but they finally started to really make their move against the thing they wanted to kill. They've been talking about how people are oppressed and this and that and this, and women are oppressed and blacks are oppressed, and trying to splinter off all these groups. Well, what they did is they brought them in all under the one umbrella of intersectionality, and now they have the combined strength to attack the thing they want to kill, which is Americanism. They need to kill Americanism if they want to take over, and that's exactly what they want to do.
Yeah, it
So
seems so.
they
Yeah.
consistently found more and more disenfranchised, I'm finger quoting as hard as I can, groups within America to have these grievances and play these victim games with. And mostly the people they're targeting are white Christian Americans, are
Yeah.
good people. And they actually do care
Yeah.
if someone's suffering, believe it or not.
Of
So
course they
they
do.
listen.
Yeah.
And instead of listening with reason, they start listening with emotion, and it shuts them down. And once the masculine mind starts shutting down and just letting the feminine mind go crazy, people start voting for nonsense, and they stop reasoning with their head of what's this going to do for the future.
Yeah.
This actually started before your generation, even with the baby boomers, who were the worst generation. But it's it's gotten to the point now where I really would be surprised if in 50 years the United States of America even exists as it does today. It
Hmm.
will probably exist, but it'll probably be smaller, just
It could
because
be.
there's no homogenization anymore. We
Or
don't have this,
bigger. It could be bigger.
right? Or we could conquer more.
We could conquer more. But really, in this conversation, and it's an important conversation starting out the year because there's a lot of hot spots, guys, and we're gonna have to keep an eye on them. What goes on this year? I know we're more interested in having fun with the comic book stuff, but we cannot shut our eyes to what's happening because there's literal, actual violence and trouble that are coming. Right. And the real lucky one here is Booster, however, because the only thing he has to worry about day to day is stepping over rabid wombats and dodging crocodiles.
I didn't care for that statement at all. That was just
It's
blasphemy.
funny.
I think that was a hate crime just now, Chester.
It's funny because people say, like I even just said, we're reliving the fall of Rome. I don't think that's actually true. I think what we're reliving is I can't, what do they call it? There's a term for it, but basically between the era of the strong Roman Republic, where the Senate was really powerful, to the Emperor era. There's an area that's got a name, but I can't remember what it is.
Uh-huh.
Where you had Sulla, you had Caesar, you had all these guys, and Caesar obviously is the one who really finished,
Augustus.
took over, and eventually you get to Augustus. So like I always tell people, wake me when we get to Caesar, because after Caesar is when things get great. You get Augustus in there, and
That's
he
right.
does he does great things for all the people of the world, really, at the time.
Yeah. Well, he might well have been the greatest leader we know about in history.
Yes,
Actually, and it's a bit sad that people don't really understand how important he was. That dude changed the world, literally changed the world for the
yes,
better. Yeah. And then of course we got Nero. Yay.
yeah. Strong men made the weak times, and the weak time, or the strong men made the good times. The good times made weak men, and the weak men made really bad times under Nero and Caligula. So,
Mhm.
oof.
Oh well. But anyway, guys, we that's enough for today for sure. Thank you for coming in for our comics and political conversations. We do appreciate it. Keep in mind that tomorrow we'll have a comics news today, and we'll also be doing the Drone Recorder Ultimate Edition. We're not canceling, baby. We're bringing it on because this week
Once again, we have to pick up the slack, huh?
we always have to pick up the slack. That's why we're the
Mm,
Ultimate Edition.
mm.
And this week,
Ultimate Edition, baby.
yeah, baby. And this week we are doing Warhammer 40K. Yeah, you heard
Mm.
me. And which is good we're doing it because Mike would have a conniption because he hates to draw mechanical things. So we're going to see some cool armor, and who knows, maybe we'll see a Titan or two. I'm not sure, but it should be cool. And come back for that. Of course, Dina will be on. She's all hot and bothered about it. So it's kind of interesting that Dina's a Warhammer player and fan. It's not. I didn't expect that. I didn't
I don't
expect
expect that
that.
either. But she is a crazy Asian lady.
She is.
There's a lot of things that would surprise you.
It's true. But I love Dina. She's cool. But anyway, come back for that, guys. And I'm going to go to Thundero, and he's going to give us the most awesome and bestesses ever Namaste moment.
Uh-oh. That's a lot of
Yeah.
pressure. 2019 was absolute garbage for me. For the most part, the whole decade was, except for my marriage. That was the best thing that ever happened to me. But around that, everything else was terrible. However, it's a new decade, and even though we were talking about some dark stuff that's probably going to happen this decade, and it probably will, that doesn't mean anything. You get to control how you look at the world. So try to look at it brightly.
Oh, that was
Oh,
really beautiful.
namaste.
Made my panties wet a little.
A little bit.
Namaste in my
A
pants.
bit.
Yeah, I'm good, I know.
I really want to go back over to the Kirsten picture. Oh well.
Don't do it.
All right, here we go. Anyway, namaste. Thank you, and later, guys.
Aloha.